more than 100 years, the Manitoba Registered Music Teachers Association has been holding a yearly performance scholarship competition. And throughout this week, MRMTA students of all ages have been competing for a chance to win a cash prize and ultimately perform in the Scholarship Gala concert that takes place this Sunday, February the 4th at 7:30 at Sterling Mennonite Fellowship at 1008 Dakota. And here to tell us more about Sunday's Scholarship Gala concert and the competition itself, I am joined by Bennet Charter, who is the Performance Scholarship Competition Chair for the MRMTA. Hey, Bennet, nice to have you here and nice to meet you.
Hey, Chris, nice to meet you too. It's a pleasure to be here.
So as we are recording this, we have just had the first day of the competition.
Yes.
It was junior and advanced piano yesterday. How has it been going so far? And are you excited to see what happens for the remainder of the week?
So far, so good. It's been a lot to organize, but seeing it come together has been very rewarding. Yesterday was great. Very much looking forward to the rest of the week. Tomorrow is a big day. It's intermediate piano. We have a lot of competitors in that. And hopefully things continue to run so smoothly, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more wonderful performances.
Yeah. Do you know how many entrants there were this year as compared to other years?
Yeah, for a lot of the categories, from what I understand, it was quite comparable. For the instrumental, we have 8. For the vocal, we have 12 across the different categories. For piano, there were 5 in the advanced, 13 in senior, so those level 9 and 10, 16 for the junior, level 5 and 6. But for me, the big one, there were 25 people in the intermediate, which is a lot and exciting for the future.
Yeah, it sounds great. I also know that there's some guidelines as to who can enter the competition. Can you talk about those? Who's eligible to compete?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, you have to be a resident of Manitoba, and you have to be studying with an MRMTA member at the time of application. The only limitations, if you've previously won a category, you can't compete for that category again. With the exception of the advanced categories where a competitor may win twice.
And there are 3 discipline categories. Yes. There's piano, voice, and instrumental. Who are the adjudicators this year, and can you talk about them a bit? Introduce us to them?
For sure. For instrumental, the adjudicator is Vijay Chalasani, who I've had the pleasure to meet, and it came very highly recommended to me. He's a violist who I know is a very passionate teacher and performer. The vocal adjudicator is Lara Chikevich, who is well known in Winnipeg for her wonderful performances, performing throughout Canada, and in demand as an adjudicator and a teacher. She's wonderful.
Perform with our Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, amongst other things.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And for piano, for the senior and advanced categories is Jenny Regier, who I was actually one of my ARCT examiners when I did that back in the day. And, I've seen her adjudicate in the past. I thought she was just wonderful. I thought all of her comments were very on point, and she was great. And for the junior and intermediate piano, it's Madeline Hildebrand, who I go quite a ways back with. We did our undergrads together at U of M.
Wow.
And she's since gone on to do her graduate degrees at a master's at UBC and recently completed a doctorate at Stony Brook in New York.
Right. And she's well known to our audience. She's performed everywhere. You are a piano teacher yourself.
I am.
For you, what are the benefits of having your students take part in the competition?
Absolutely. The biggest thing for me as a teacher is that students always need goals, right? And this is something that, preparing a program for January, right, you have to push yourself. And it's just wonderful to have that with the music festival's coming up too, another wonderful goal. It really pushes people to get ready, and it exposes people to just the level that's out there. You show up, you see some of the best kids in the city and the province playing, and it could be an inspiring thing.
Yeah, and see what other people who are in your age level and you're playing, just sort of what they're doing. And
even do some repertoire you haven't heard before. Just say, hey, maybe I want to play that.
Yeah. For you as a teacher, I have to ask, do you ever have the experience where the adjudicator says something to your student or writes something on the paper that you have been talking about in lessons? And does that give you some kind of a vindication?
All the time. Even last year I was adjudicating myself in the Winnipeg Festival because I had not too many. I had actually recently returned from BC and didn't have very many people entered at all, so I could do this. And I found myself many times saying, there's some good things in here, some good things in your book. You should listen to your teacher. It would be a good starting point.
There is the performance aspect of the competition that is so valuable, but there's also some cash prizes that go along with winning. Can you talk about those prizes a bit?
Absolutely. Well, typically, For the junior, intermediate, senior, and advanced respectively, it's $200, $300, $400, and $500. But for this year, because it's the 100th year of the scholarship competition, we actually decided to add on $100 to each of those.
Oh, wow. So it's $300, $400, $500,
Yes.
and $600. Wow, that's great. And then, can you talk about the four categories? What's the difference between
Sure.
advanced and like a senior?
Yeah, sometimes, it's funny, even when I was first doing this, I was getting those mixed up. So like it starts with junior is like level 5 and 6 for like Royal Conservatory or Conservatory Canada. Intermediate 7 and 8. Seniors 9 and 10. And advanced is like a diploma or ARCT level.
The scholarship competition can lead to other things as well, right? Can you talk about how students get recommended to the national competition that's held by the Canadian Federation of Music Teachers Association? How do they qualify?
Well, just the simply the winner of the advanced category in the years that there is a competition, it's usually every couple of years, would be recommended by us to go on to that.
And so they travel to wherever it's being held in the city.
That's right.
The culmination of the competition is the gala that's happening this Sunday night. Can you talk about who will be performing? Is it just going to be the winners of all the categories? And
Yes.
can you also talk about, is there going to be an MC, and who is it, if there is?
Yes, it's going to be all the winners who are going to perform, so it should be a really nice show. So I definitely encourage people to come out and check it out.
Yeah.
And the MC, it's just going to be me. So if you enjoyed listening to me, come on down. Hopefully you don't mind hearing a little bit more.
Yeah. And for our listeners, it's a great way to see some really young, up-and-coming talented students here in the province.
Absolutely. I mean, I went to watch last year myself and enjoyed it very much.
I was on your website, and it's my understanding that you've been teaching piano since 2003.
That's right.
Is there any one event for you that sticks out in your mind from the MRMTA competition that is particularly memorable, either humorous or something that just sticks out?
I mean, when you ask that, it's kind of, it's going to be a little bit silly, I admit. But for the first thing that comes to mind is from my time as a competitor. When I was competing in this as a teenager, it was a little different. Like now we have groups of people competing. At the time, you'd go in one by one for an audition. But people were allowed to come watch, you know? And I remember, there's two things about me. One, I'm a pretty competitive guy. And two, I'm a big football fan. And so you'll know what this meant. Someone who I was competing against, who I knew was quite good, was performing during the Super Bowl. And I made a point of going to watch this person play. I wanted to see how they were going to do, even though the game was on. So for me, somehow, sacrificing that to go, I thought, wow, I was just really into it.
Yeah, the competition won out against the Super Bowl.
It did, yes.
The gala on Sunday sounds like it's going to be so great. There's some fabulous young musicians. Where can people go to find out more details about Sunday night's concert?
Well, please just check out our website, MRMTA.org. You can see where it is, how much it is. It's $5 admission for anyone, but over 12 and under kids are free. And that can be a really inspiring experience for a lot of them. So I really encourage people to bring some kids out and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Bennet, this has been so great to talk to you today about the Manitoba Registered Music Teachers Association Scholarship Competition Gala that happens this Sunday. Thanks for taking the time and stop by and talk to me today.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
For our Classic 107 listeners, the MRMTA Scholarship Gala concert happens this Sunday, February the 4th at 7:30 at Sterling Mennonite Fellowship, which is at 1008 Dakota. For more details, visit mrmta.org or go to classic107.com. I put up a post about the gala, and you can find more details there.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.